everybody, Gary here with Guitar Tricks, and in this video I'm going to share with you 3 essential blues riffs that you need to know. What I mean by that is just 3 classic sounding blues riffs, parts of the blues vocabulary, little nuggets that you'll hear in a lot of blues playing, not necessarily note for note as I'm showing it to you, but basically the same. If you listen to like 3 or 4 of your favorite blues players, you're going to hear lots of the same ideas because there's a language, right? There's vocabulary, there's a language, there's phrases that everyone kind of knows and develops on their own. So a lot of people that are looking for ideas to improvise, let's say within the blues, think it just comes out of thin air when it doesn't. It comes from learning the language. So I recommend that you learn what your favorite players actually did note for note and then develop it from there. But I'm going to give you kind of 3 classic riffs that you could use, similar to things you might find on your own anyway, and then we're going to talk about how you could develop them. Now, all these riffs are kind of based around an A7. So if we're in an A blues, you know, A7, D7, E7, that kind of thing. They also will work in an A minor blues as well, and they're all mostly based around the A7 chord. But as I'm going to demonstrate, you could modify the riffs by ending them slightly differently to work over any chord. So before we get into the lesson, please go ahead and click subscribe so that you get all of the latest and greatest content from Guitar Tricks. And if you want to be notified of any new lesson, be sure to tap the bell and let us know what you would like to see us do next on the YouTube channel in the comments section. All right, let's get into it. So the first riff goes, right? And I played it in 3 different places. And I also played it here. Right? So here we're in A pentatonic pattern 1. A minor pentatonic pattern 1, and we're on these middle 2 strings, fret 5 to 7, then 5 on the next string, then back to 7, then bend 7 on the G string. Okay, so now this is really basic the way that I'm playing it, and I could do all sorts of things to modify it, but first we want to make sure we got it this basic way. So what's some things that are happening here? This bend right here, I'm bending to the sounds of the 5th. That's a chord tone, this note. So, then I drop it down, play that same note. Then toggle back and forth between these 2, fret 7 and 5 on the G. So, then end on the root note. Okay? Now, the rhythm is more important than anything else. So where am I coming in on this riff? I'm coming in on the end of 3. So like this, 1, 2, 3, ba-da-ba-da-boom. And then the bend lands on 1. 1, 2, 3, ba-da-ba-da. So that's like a pickup. A pickup leads you into the downbeat, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now there's things I can do to spice it up. I can slide. I can micro bend this note, which is the flat 3, to the sound of either the major 3 or in between. That's that kind of blues land. Taking the minor 3rd and bending it somewhere between a major 3rd and a minor 3rd. So. And then on the way back down. So 1, 2, 3. And then if I want, I could then finish off on this note, which is the flat 3. And I could give it a micro bend to be somewhere between the flat 3 and the major 3. That's the stylistic to the blues, is the chord as a major 3rd. but the scale as a minor third. So that note, you hear blues players always bending it into this blues heaven that exists between the minor third and the major third. So I went. Right? Some vibrato when I get back to the root. And then. Cool. Now, you want to be able to play these riffs elsewhere on the neck. Let's play it in the next octave in this shape right off pattern 1. I call it the House of Blues. Same exact riff, 1 octave higher. So all this exists again. Here we were in this 2x2. Adjacent strings on the same fret, separated by 1 fret. Now, same thing an octave higher on frets 8 and 10. So we start on 10 of the B string, then 8 on the E, then 10 on the E, then 8, then 10, bend, drop down, back to 8, 10, 8, 10, 10, 8. Now sometimes instead of going, I'll hammer on real quick. Next one goes like this. So that was in pattern 1, and this was in pattern 3. And now this is a blues scale riff. So this is pentatonic, and this is blues scale. We just add this chromatic passing tone. It's a flat 5, so it's dissonant, it's bluesy. And we go, I like to bar the index finger on fret 5 and start on the B string on fret 9, 9, 5, and then 5 on the E string. And I pull it off. So I go 9, 5, 5, 9, 5. That's the hardest part. Then we go to the G string and we go 8, 7, 5. So it's 8 to 5, pull off on the B string, then 5 on the E string. And I'm barring that 5th fret. And I'm pulling off on the B string 8 to 5. So I go 8, 5, 5, 8, 5. But being my fingers barred, it's easy to do it fast, especially with the pull off. Okay, so after I go 8, 5, 5, 8, 5, now that blue note 8, 7, 5. So, and then like the first riff, 7, 5, 7, 7, 7 on the D string, 5 on the G, that quarter bend on the minor third, back to the tonic, 7th fret of the D. So putting that together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So starting on beat 2 this time. So all about that rhythm, knowing when to come in with it. I don't have to come in on 2. I come in on 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Right? That sounded just as good, but hit differently. It hit different because I started on 1. Right? Watch the difference. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I'm going to start on 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And then here, I don't use pattern 3 very often. I actually never played this riff in this pattern. I might now. I just wanted to show that these things exist in other patterns. This riff in particular, it's such a pattern 1 riff. There's a reason why everyone uses that pattern. Certain things work really well. This riff doesn't necessarily work very well here, but it works, right? That works. It's just a little more awkward than the last riff. All of them start and end the same way, basically. So they're almost already variations on a theme. But what's classic here is sliding up into this house of blues pattern. And then here, sliding from pattern 4. And we're sliding into pattern 5. So now that's some vocabulary. What do you do with that vocabulary? You mess around with it, right? So on the 1 chord, then I get to the 4. Maybe I go. I started it the same. So my awareness of the 4 chord and the major third on the 4 chord led me down a different avenue. Now, if I played that over the 4 chord, still sounds good. Watch. Right? Because this note is the 5th of the 4 chord. So it still works. You could play these riffs anywhere, but you could also just make them slightly different. That was the same DNA, but slightly different. That was more like the 3rd riff I showed you. So there I did. That's a bluesy thing to do. Bend, drop down, pull off. Right? 2nd riff. Right? Variations on a theme. In time, good rhythm, intentional. So with this one, maybe I keep going up. Did the same riff down there. So that's the whole thing. Take these 3 riffs, spend an hour with them. You know, see how many ways you could vary them. Come in on beat 1, come in on beat 2, come in on beat 3, play it over a 12-bar blues progression. Some of the greatest players had a very limited vocabulary, but they constantly were able to vary the way that limited vocabulary hit, the way it sounded, based on where they placed the notes, slight variations in the rhythm, difference in the feel, a little more vibrato here, a little more vibrato there, play it quiet, play it soft, play it loud, right? Listen to Albert King. Albert King's a great example. Limited vocabulary, but master of that vocabulary, and was his trademark and his sound, and is one of the, if there was a Mount Rushmore of blues players, he would probably be on it for a lot of people. All right, everybody, I hope you enjoyed that lesson. If you want to learn more about playing guitar, head over to guitartricks.com. There's fundamentals courses, genre-specific courses like blues, rock, and country, a library of song lessons. Happy playing, and I'll see you in the next lesson.